Good afternoon, and thank you for participating of the 2014 Housing Choice Voucher Funding Implementation broadcast. My name is Miguel Fontanez, Director, Housing Voucher Financial Management Division. The main purpose of today's broadcast is to brief the housing agencies, industry groups, and our partners in the field about the Housing Choice Voucher renewal calculations as enacted by Congress in the Consolidated Appropriations Act 2014. I'm going to try to brief you on funding appropriated for HAP, administrative fees, funding set aside for funding adjustments, badge funding, tenant protection vouchers, and also Mainstream 5 vouchers, which is funding awarded for elderly and disabled families. To accomplish this goal, we have two excellent presenters. They are Bernice Onlen, Program Advisor for the Housing Choice Voucher Program, FMD, and also Nicholas Bilka, Program Analyst for the FMD as well. We are very fortunate this year, I will say, the program has been very fortunate because we have very important provisions that were authorized for the first time. And the first one was the offset reallocation. We're going to apply that provision this year, and we're going to use it for two purposes, which is the purposes enacted in the Appropriations Act. We're going to use it for incrementing the proration, the HAP proration nationwide, and also we're going to use some of those funds that will be offset from NRA for shortfall prevention. We're also fortunate because in calendar year 2014, Congress did not apply any sequester reductions. I guess we are very fortunate for that this year. We anticipate that the presentation will last approximately 1 hour and 15 minutes. And at the end of the presentation, we're going to have around 10 to 15 minutes approximately to respond to questions that we already received in our mailbox, or to respond to questions that you have, and you can send us through the email that will show in your screen. Again, if we cannot get to all the questions that we received today, be assured that we're going to respond directly to those questions, and we're going to use those questions for the benefit of everybody. We're going to post those questions as frequently asked questions in our website. Without further ado, I'm going to leave you with Bernice Onlen, which is going to begin the presentation. Bernice?
Thank you, Miguel. Good day, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon, taking the time out of your busy day, because we think it's important that we get together at the point when we're issuing the funding allocations to talk to you about what we have done so that you can understand how the law has been provided. You should be seeing on your screen the set of slides that we'll be working from today, and we want to let you know that after this broadcast, we'll do any cleanup or additions from questions, and then those slides will be posted on HUD's website probably tomorrow, certainly no later than the following day. And as Miguel mentioned, we will take questions and answers now and later. We also have developed a detailed implementation notice, a HUD PIH notice that sets forth the steps we are taking, the information on the various programs that have been funded, and very importantly, procedures for applying for set-aside funds. That notice should be issued actually today, and then it will immediately be posted on the HUD website under PIH notices as well. So we want you to have that information. Okay, the things we're going to talk about in the next hour or so will be the renewal funding for calendar 2014, the HAP set-aside provisions, the administrative fee provisions, the other programs that are included in the appropriations for this year, and then we want to talk about some items related to your net restricted assets and your HUD-held program reserves. Okay, first of all, let's talk about the voucher renewal funding for calendar year 14. Just a little bit of history, some may not know it. For this year, HUD operated under two continuing resolutions from the beginning of the fiscal year last October until the point that the fiscal 14 appropriations were enacted. And because we were under those CRs, during that period, we received funding allotments based upon our fiscal 2013 appropriations that had been enacted. On that basis, for January, February, and March, the obligations that we made to your agencies for your renewal funding needs were based on the 2013 level of funding and estimated what your 2014 eligibility would be. So we knew what the 13 level of funding was. We had an estimate of your eligibility, so we used those two factors to prorate funds and come up with obligations for each participating agency for each month. Then, of course, the disbursements that we made to you against those obligations were based on your projected needs from your actual of the prior quarter as reported in VMS, but were limited to the level of obligations that we were able to make. Then on January 17th of this year, the full year appropriations were enacted as Public Law 11376. And you will find the full language of the section of the law that pertains to our programs provided as an attachment to the implementation notice that you will see on the web. So what does the funding look like? Miguel gave you the good news that there was no sequestration in the fiscal 2014 budget. As you recall, last year, that was a reduction of about 8% that was taken right off the top, so it significantly reduced the funding. So you'll see the fiscal 2013 renewal funding after the sequestration was $16,349 million. The fiscal 14 renewal funding, because there's no sequestration, is higher at $17,365 million. As we always mention, however, there are also more vouchers to be supported in 14 than in calendar 13 because of the new increments that have been awarded. Of that $17,365 million, HUD has the authority and will use up to $75 million of that as the HAP Set-Aside this year. Okay. Now, I want to run over, first of all, the highlights of what the pieces are in the renewal allocations, and then we'll get into a little more detail on some of them. According to the Appropriations Act for fiscal 14, which we use to fund you for calendar year 14, much of what you will hear right now is familiar to some of you who have been around in the program for a while. But the first point is that re-benchmarking was conducted, which means we establish a new baseline level of funding for each agency. And it is based on the actual and eligible HAP costs that you incurred for calendar year 2013, based upon your reporting in the voucher management system and our review, with the caveat that we will not fund more than your baseline units. So if you were over-leased for the year, we would reduce the eligible costs to what was needed for the baseline units. Then we apply the renewal inflation factor that is developed based upon national and local statistics. We make adjustments for what are termed first-time renewals, and these are increments that were initially funded in the prior year, in calendar year 13. The purpose of the adjustment is to ensure that new increments that were initially funded for fewer than 12 months, and that did happen last year, will now be fully funded through December 31 of 2014, and that initial funding is inflated per the renewal inflation factors for new increments that span 2013 and 2014. So that is, we want to make sure that we bring all of your initial increments up to their full 12 months and then renew them to the end of 2014. And if you had a new increment that spanned the 2 years, we want to inflate the funding for those months that occur in 2014 to recognize what inflation may have occurred in your area. So that's the third step in the process. Then we have the national proration factor to apply. This national proration factor is a very simple piece of math. We compare the national eligibility for all PHAs to the funds that are appropriated, and we come up with a factor. You recall last year it was 93.76%, I think. Every year it's a different factor. Once determined, that factor is then applied to the eligibility of all PHAs. The same factor is applied to everyone. Then the fifth step this year is, as Miguel mentioned, there is an NRA offset that has been applied in cases where a PHA is determined to have excess net restricted assets and HUD-held program reserves. And we will go through that in some detail. And then the result of these calculations is the calendar year 2014 prorated renewal funding for your PHA. Now, I would mention what we have calculated in this process is the renewal funding. Some PHAs also have what is termed non-renewal funding. For instance, those new increments that you awarded in 2013 that are still active into 2014, that their initial 12 months has not expired, and NRA and program reserves. So the renewal funding is not the total of what is available in most cases. These additional sources are also available to support your program this year. Once we have your prorated eligibility determined and we have accommodated the offsets, we compare the funds that you should have received for the months of January through March to the funds that we actually did obligate. As mentioned, for January through March, the obligation was based upon an estimate of what you would be eligible for and a proration based upon 2013 appropriations. So those obligation amounts were estimates. Now, once we have completed your eligibility, we know what you actually are due to have obligated for your program. So if we have obligated for those 3 months less than what your eligibility is, we will make the difference up to your agency in an additional obligation. Likewise, if the obligations that we made exceeded what you turned out being eligible for those 3-month periods, the prorated amount that we will obligate each month for the rest of the year will be reduced so that at the end of the year, you will have been obligated the correct funds. So if you were shorted in your obligations, we make it up immediately. If you received excess obligations, we just reduce going across the rest of the year. And this is a standard practice that we have been doing for some years now. Okay, so let's look at the steps in a little bit more detail. First of all, rebenchmarking. The rebenchmarking for calendar year 2014 is based upon your submitted and validated calendar year 2013 HAP costs as reported in VMS. And you'll recall we set the deadline for all changes to that 2013 data at February 24th. Any changes after that point were only as directed by HUD, because there was an apparent problem with the data. So that February 24th database is the source for the rebenchmarking. We then looked at whether or not your PHA was overleased. As mentioned, we are not permitted under the appropriations to fund overleasing for you. So we do what's called capping. We cap your costs at 100% of your baseline vouchers to ensure we do not fund overleasing. And there's a quick little example on the screens. The capping formula is unit months available for the year divided by the unit months leased, and the capping cannot exceed 100%. So an example, if your agency had 1,000 unit months available in your program and you leased 1,050, the division of the UMAs by the UMLs comes to a factor of 0.95238, which we apply to your HAP cost. So if your HAP costs were $1 million for all 10,050 UMLs, we would multiply it by that factor to yield a baseline renewal eligibility of $952,380, which represents the funds that are needed to renew your 1,000 permitted unit months available. Yeah, so that's rebenchmarking and capping. There weren't a large number of agencies that were overleased and capped this year, but if you were in that situation, you will see a capping percentage on your funding documents that's less than 100%. Okay. Next, we have the renewal inflation factor to apply to those capped expenses. Now, The manner in which this basically is done, a national per unit cost increase is developed from a rather sophisticated forecasting model that's been developed. This year, as it happens, that national increase is 0.23%. That's really small. That's like 0.25%. Once we had that factor, it's apportioned among PHAs based upon the increase in fair market rents in each area of the country from fiscal 2013 to 2014. The caveat on that is that no area may have a negative inflation factor. So if the fair market rents actually decreased, the inflation factor is 1.000. For 2014, I will tell you, most PHAs have a factor of 1.000, reflecting either no appreciable inflation or an actual reduction of fair market rent standards. I believe it was less than 200 agencies that actually have a factor above 1. Okay, the third major step is that we make adjustments for your first-time renewals. And this applies to new increments, not renewal increments, just brand new increments effective after January 1st of 2013. These are things like tenant protection increments you might have been awarded, due to a multifamily conversion or a public housing disposition in your agency. It refers to new VASH units that were awarded to you in 2013. It is just new units, not renewals. If that new increment was funded for 12 months, an inflation adjustment per the renewal inflation factor is applied for those months in calendar year 2014. So if your increment was effective last August 1st and expires this July 31st, we would inflate it for the 7 months in that term that are in calendar year 14. Okay. If that new increment was funded for fewer than 12 months, renewal funding is provided based upon the 12 months that are in VMS for calendar year 2013 minus the months that are already funded in calendar year 2014. We have a little example of that. This often causes some questions. Here's a new increment of less than 12 months. It was effective last June 1st and expires on March 31st. So it's a 10-month increment. Now we know that you have reported the use of that increment in VMS beginning last June through December, the end of the rebenchmarking period. So that data has been captured. We know that that increment is funded for the first 3 months of 2014, January through March. So first-time renewal funding is needed for the difference. The total 12 months of 2014 minus the 7 months whose expenses we have captured in your VMS data, minus the 3 months that are already funded in the new calendar year, means that you need 2 additional months of funding for this increment. And that funding that is provided as part of renewals is based on the total vouchers, total number of vouchers in the increment, and the higher of the original per unit cost that was funded, or your calendar year 2013 VMS average per unit cost inflated. So you will have 12 months of funding available in 2014. 3 from your initial increment, 7 from your expenses in VMS, and 2 from the first-time renewal allocation. So that is your adjustment for first-time renewals. The fourth step is the national proration factor. Before that is applied, the following amounts are summed up to yield your total renewal eligibility. First, it's your capped renewal eligibility. And here, I want everyone to notice there's an error on the slide, which we will fix before we post them. It says prorated, it should say inflated. So it's your capped renewal eligibility inflated by your renewal funding inflation factor, plus the adjustment for first-time renewals that we just talked about. Then 2 other items that affect a very few PHAs. If you divested units to another agency via transfer, or if you received units from another agency via transfer, we will make an adjustment. And that adjustment is that the VMS expenses for the months in the rebenchmarking period after the effective date of the transfer are moved and combined with the VMS expenses of the receiving PHA. So if you're a receiving PHA and you received this transfer on October 1st, we will go into VMS of the divesting PHA and pull the expenses that you need to make you whole for 2014. And the other thing that we add here is the inflated DHAP eligibility. There's still a few PHAs who are serving disaster-affected participants, and we continue to provide renewal funding for those vouchers. They are calculated separately based upon the number of disaster participants that were still assisted as of December, and the per unit cost for that program segment for calendar year 2013. And we provide this funding for the 12 months of 2014. And as you know, these vouchers are not renewed, they are not reissued. I should say, once the participating household has left the program, the vouchers expire. So they're funded across the year in case the people stay across the year. You may have some excess from that, but that program will gradually decline. Okay, so once we have this total renewal eligibility for all agencies, we compare it, as said, to the total renewal funding available, which is the appropriations less the set-aside, to determine the national proration factor. And that is applied to the eligibility of each PHA to come to their prorated eligibility. And I would mention our MTW agencies. Their eligibilities are calculated in accordance with the terms of their MTW agreements, but the proration factor applied to their eligibility is the same as what is applied to all other housing agencies in the program. Okay, now we need to look at the net restricted assets and program reserve offset. As Miguel mentioned, the 2014 Act allows HUD to offset excess NRA and program reserves. And these funds may be offset where they are available to serve two purposes. One is to avoid or reduce the need for proration of renewal funding to all agencies. And the second is to prevent termination of assistance to any participants because the agency that's serving them does not have sufficient funding to continue the assistance. So those are the two provisions in the Act for which the offset funds may be used. Now, this offset is different than offsets that we have experienced in recent years. I believe 2009, 2010, and 2012, we had mandated offsets. And in those years, the Appropriations Act stated specifically how much needed to be offset. For instance, in 2012, it was $650 million. And those amounts, once offset, were actually returned to the Treasury. The funds were reduced from the appropriation, so we could not spend them. This year, it is different. The offset and the amount are not mandated. It's a permissive offset that HUD may do this for these two stated purposes, which are both for the betterment of the program and its operations. So indeed, the offset this year is much smaller than in those prior years, and we get to retain the funds to use them for the program nationwide. So those are positive elements that we have available to us. Okay, I want to go through with you how we determine the amounts to offset. The NRA and the program reserve offset. Okay, we start with the excess funds that are available for offset, determining that amount. And we use the term excess funds, and that really just means funds from prior years that have not been used for the program. So they're funds that are, on the table. Some of them you may need for your program, and we're doing everything we can to ensure you have them. Others may truly be excess of needs. But the excess funds that are available for offset consist of the total of, first of all, the NRA that you are holding in your bank accounts, the net restricted assets. And for purposes of this offset, we handled these amounts conservatively. What we said was available as NRA is the lesser of what you reported as the balance as of December, or the cash that you reported as of December. So if you said our NRA is $100,000, but we only have $900,000 in cash, for purposes of this offset alone, we used the lower figure, the $900,000 in that example. And that's simply because we want to ensure that the funds are immediately in hand to cover the offset. To the NRA balance, we added the HUD-held program reserves. These are, of course, funds that you did not use in 2012 and 2013 that HUD never dispersed to you or recouped from you as part of the 2012 reconciliation. For purposes of this offset, the program reserves consist of the reconciled balance as of December 31 of 2012, and since 2013 is not fully reconciled yet, for that year, we added the budget authority that was available to you and subtracted the disbursements that were applicable to 2013. So the balance are those funds that were not dispersed to you or had already been recouped through interim reconciliations across the year. So we're using the reconciled 2012 balance, add to that the 2013 budget authority, and subtract the 2013 disbursements. And note that we say it's the disbursements applicable to 2013. So if we made a disbursement in 2013 to close the 2012 reconciliation, that amount is already accounted for in the balance, so we would not deduct that disbursement again. Likewise, if you received set-aside funds for shortfall in 2013, that is not included in either the budget authority or the disbursements because those funds are subject to separate reconciliation. And if we made any disbursements in 2014 to cover 2013 needs, those are included in the disbursements. So again, this is how we got to the total excess. Excess doesn't mean it's not needed for some purpose, it means it hasn't been used. Okay. Now, mention that you might need some of those funds for important and specific program purposes. And for this reason, specific amounts are deducted from that total excess and are exempted or protected from offset. We don't want to take everything that hasn't been used because there are reasons you need it, and we believe we have covered those reasons in the items that we are exempting from offset. First of all, and this is very important and applies to many agencies, we are exempting from the offset funds that you need to maintain your leasing level as of December 2013. As you know, your renewal funding is based on your 2013 total HAP costs, which means you're actually being funded for the average. So as your costs, went up and down, probably mostly up across the year, at the end of the year, when we total them, if you were to spread it across the months, it's really the average that is coming forward as your renewal base. Your December leasing might have been higher than the average. You might have done your 2-year utilization tool and discovered you could lease a few more units in December, and indeed you did so. And you did it because the tool showed you, yes, I have the funds to carry these units into the future, or my attrition will allow me to carry them. So if your December leasing is higher, you basically start January a little bit behind the 8 ball, and you have to figure out how to adjust that. So what we are doing is ensuring that we leave with you NRA and program reserves sufficient to cover your December leasing if it is higher than the average. The formula is very simple. We compared your average calendar year 2013 leasing, this is your UMLs, to the lower of your December leasing or your December unit months available. And we use the lower of because we don't want to leave funds to support overleasing. So we take that difference of the 2013 leasing and the lower of December or your UMAs, multiply it by the inflated per unit cost for 2013 and multiply that times 12. So you can continue to assist all your December vouchers. An easy example, you have 100 unit months available in December. For the whole calendar year, you lease 95 as an average, but in December you lease 98. Your renewal funding will cover the 95, and excess funds will be exempted from offset to cover the additional 3 vouchers for the 12 months of 2014. Okay, and like I say, that's going to affect a great many housing agencies. Okay, the second specific amount that we are deducting from the excess and therefore exempting it from the offset are funds that are needed for housing authorities to reach 100% leasing of their VASH vouchers in calendar year 2014. As I'm sure you know, ending homelessness among veterans is a very high priority activity, and we want to ensure that you have the funds available to do this. How are we doing that? We are assuming that your remaining leasing in the VASH program will occur on a even level across the year. So if you've got 48 unleased VASH vouchers, we're assuming every month you're going to get 4 of those leased up. So for our formula calculation, we took your December VASH unit months available and subtracted your December VASH unit months leased, assuming it was less. If it's not less, you don't have a problem. And we multiplied those number of unleased units by your 2013 average VASH per unit cost inflated, and we multiplied that result by 6. Now we use 6 because, as we mentioned, we expect that you will lease them up evenly across the year, so each one will in effect be leased for a total of 6 months in the year. And this applies to all of your VASH vouchers in all of your awards. I know sometimes in VASH you're asked to focus on the latest award for certain types of reporting. This does not take that approach. For this exercise, we looked at your total VASH program. And if your agency has new VASH funds that are in 2014, that is, the increment extends into calendar year 2014 before it hits its initial 12 months, those funds are indeed available, and their purpose is to lease VASH units, so we can deduct that from what you would otherwise need. So if you have a 500-unit VASH program, and let's say you had 475 leased in December, that means there's 25 unleased. And let's assume your per unit cost is $400. We're going to protect or exempt from the offset funds equal to 25 units times $400 times 6 months, which I think is $60,000. Now suppose you had a new VASH increment and there was $20,000 of that increment that was allocated to 2014, which would be the case if it was a $120,000 increment that was effective March 1st of last year. 2 months are in 2014, so that $20,000 is available to support the leasing. So we would subtract it from the need, and we'd say this housing authority needs $40,000 of their NRA and reserves exempted from offset so that they can complete 100% leasing of their VASH vouchers. Okay, we do not want a funding problem to affect VASH leasing. Okay, the third type of funding that is exempted from offset is the calendar year 2013 prorated portion of incremental vouchers effective in that year. So we looked at money in 2014. Now we're going back to those new increments to look at 2013. The HAP costs for your incremental vouchers are generally not known because they are merged with other funds in your VMS reporting. For instance, a new VASH, all your VASH expenses and leasing are reported together. A new tenant protection, they're all reported together in VMS. So we don't know how much of that new increment in 2013 you actually spent and therefore will get renewal funding for, and how much of it is in the NRA or in the reserves. Because of that unknown factor, we are exempting the total 2013 portion from offset, which is the perfect result if you were unable to lease anything. So, you know, you had an increment, tenant protection increment, that was effective last October 1st for 12 months at $120,000. I use 12s a lot because the math is easy. So that means there's $10,000 a month that was allocated for this new increment. It was effective 3 months before the end of the calendar year, so $30,000 of those funds, if not spent, are in the reserve of the NRA. If you spent $20,000, that's in your rebenchmarking, and $10,000 is in the reserve in NRA. But we don't know that split, so we are protecting the entire $30,000 from offset. And again, this is for new increments effective in 2013. Okay, and then there is one more source of funding that is exempted from offset, and this will apply to everybody. And that is an amount equal to 10% of your 2014 renewal eligibility. And this is intended to support increased per unit costs across your program and increased leasing above the December actual level. We use the the calendar year 13 PUC inflated, and that does not provide a lot of inflation for most PHAs. So by leaving this 10% amount, that's more than a month worth of reserves, and we feel comfortable that this should enable most PHAs to operate normal, well-managed programs across calendar year 2014. So those are the 4 categories of need that we are calculating, and the total value is exempted from offset. So your offset then will equal the total excess funds, the total unused funds, minus the total of these 4 amounts that are protected from offset. Now, in some cases, it may be that these 4 amounts actually exceed your total NRA and program reserves. And in that case, of course, you would not be subject to offset at all. And I would mention that this whole process is to exempt funds from offset. This process does not provide additional renewal funding. So we're not calculating these up and then providing the funds. We're just saying to the extent that the funds exist in your NRA and program reserve, we are leaving them there so they are available to your agency to continue with your reasonable and responsible operation of the program. We have not calculated offsets for certain PHAs. First of all, PHAs with fewer than 50 vouchers will not be subject to offset, and that's simply because when a program is that small, changes among a few participants can make significant swings in the percentage applicable in terms of how much BA is being used, how much NRA is being used. So that's a little bit riskier than it is for larger agencies. So those agencies are exempted from the offset. And the other agencies exempted are those PHAs who had confirmed shortfalls in calendar year 2013. The reason these are exempted is that the shortfall provisions and reconciliation are designed to have brought these agencies to an even 0 at the end of calendar year 2013. That is, they were provided shortfall funding to get them to the end of the year, but they were provided no excess. So there's no reason to calculate an offset because there's nothing from which to offset. Now, as you mentioned, HUD intends to use the offset funds for both eligible purposes from the Act. First of all, to increase the renewal funding proration, and then to address shortfalls for well-managed programs that run into problems. As a matter of fact, we have used the offset amount to calculate the final proration level for your funding awards. And by using offset funds, we were able to increase everyone's proration. We started at a proration of 99.402, and by using offset funds, we were able to raise that to 99.7% of your eligibility. So the program nationwide and every housing authority has benefited from the ability that we had to make these offsets and then to use them to increase the proration. And finally, we then come to your prorated renewal funding, which is your eligibility minus your offset. Your monthly obligations will continue to be equal to 1/12 of your prorated renewal eligibility, from which we will subtract your offset until we have completed taking that amount. Your April obligation will include any under obligation for the first 3 months. And if there's any over obligation, April will be reduced, and then your offset will be deducted from that. And if your agency has an offset, and not everyone does, but many do, your PHA will use the NRA and or your program reserve funds in lieu of the new budget authority equal to the amount that is offset. Now, of course, in the case where you are using program reserve funds in lieu of the new budget authority, we will disperse those funds to you since we won't have the new BA to make available. You will not need to request a front load to get your reserves in lieu of budget authority. So we will calculate that into the formula that we do to determine the monthly disbursements. And if we find that the obligated amount is less than what the BA would be without the offset, and you need part of that difference, we will automatically disperse that. You will not need to request a front load to get those reserves. Okay. We've got a quick little example here of how the offset and the over and under obligation work. In our example PHA, the PHA had a prorated renewal eligibility of 1.2 million and a calculated offset of 40,000, which means that their funding after offset would be 1,160,000. Suppose that January through March we obligated 280,000. We should have obligated, as it turns out, based on the final data, 300,000, which means the housing authority has been under obligated by $20,000 for those 3 months. So the April obligation will equal the normal amount, which would be $100,000 as 1/12 of the total 1.2 million, minus the $40,000 offset, and plus the $20,000 under obligation that is still owed to them. So we would obligate $80,000 for April. And then for the remaining 8 months of the year, we'd obligate $100,000 for each month. Okay. That's just a simple example of how that math works. Okay, so we've got your renewal funds calculated. Your disbursements will continue to be based on cash management requirements of Notice PIH 2011-67. January through March were based on your actual expenses of last year, July through September, plus the margin, limited monthly to 1/12 of the expected eligibility for 2014. April to June, obligations will be based on disbursements will be based on October through December actual expenses plus the margin limited to obligations. Reductions have been made in your February and March disbursements for cash that was due back to the program reserve for excess disbursements through the third quarter of last calendar year. And reductions will be made in the second quarter for any remaining excess disbursements from last calendar year after we complete the final reconciliation. And likewise, if additional disbursement is due to you as a result of that reconciliation, that will be issued upon determination. For the balance of calendar year 2014, you need to continue assessing the level of the program that can be supported across the calendar year. Look at your total funding, your NRA and program reserves, your actual expenses, your projected expenses, using, of course, the two-year tool. And I had a question today as to whether that was being updated, and I have sent that question to the people who maintain that tool, and they will be getting a response on that. I'm sure that that will be the case. I just don't know when, how quickly it will be happening. Your disbursements for the balance of the year will also be calculated per cash management. Front loads will continue to be available up to the total budget authority that's been obligated for you. And your non-renewal disbursements will continue to be made based upon the contract terms of those increments. These are your tenant protection increments, your new VASH increments, your RAD increments. They're dispersed in equal monthly pieces. We are preparing today to issue to each housing authority your notification of your actual allocation for calendar year 2014 with all of the pertinent data we have been talking about. You will receive that electronically. You will receive a cover letter that sets forth the policies and the procedures that we have followed to determine your allocation. And you will receive, as always, the individual calculations for your agency and explanations of how each line in those calculations is determined. We will identify on that document each of the four amounts, the specific amount that is eligible for exemption from the offset. So you will see how much for December leasing, how much for VASH, and so on, to see the calculation of what is exempted from offset and then the amount that will be offset. Another thing we are adding as a piece of information on the enclosure this year is your non-renewal funding. As we've discussed, the allocation process provides for your renewal funding, but many agencies have non-renewal funding. Those TPs from last year that are still in place, those new VASHs. So we have summarized, and you will see at the top of your enclosure, the non-renewal funding that is available for calendar year 2014, along with the renewal allocation, whose calculations you will see, along with the minimal NRA and the estimated program reserve. So you can see a pretty good total of what is available for your agency as of this point in time. Now, you may still get more new increments in 2014, which will increase that non-renewal amount. You may submit some changes that may alter your NRA or your program reserves as we go along, but it's a good picture for this point in time. And so we hope that that information will be valuable to you. And then you will receive an explanation of all of the calculations that are included on that document for your individual PHA. That concludes the information I wanted to share with you concerning your renewal funding for this year. Do we want to see if there's questions now or continue on?
Let's try to continue. Let's continue with the presentation. Okay. We can maybe cover all the questions at the end of the presentation.
That would be very good. So just remember your questions, and I will turn you over to my colleague, Nick Bilka, to talk about the set-aside.
Thank you, Bernice.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bernice. I'm here to talk about the 2014 voucher set-aside funding. This year, Congress has given HUD within the renewal appropriations $75 million to be used to augment renewal allocations. There are 5 categories that PHAs can apply for that'll look familiar if you went through this process last year. First, there's prevention of terminations due to insufficient funding, or the shortfall category as we call it. Unforeseen circumstances, portability cost increases, project-based vouchers, and HUD VASH are the 5 categories for the set-aside funding this year. The first category, prevention of terminations due to insufficient funding, the shortfall category has 2 different scenarios to it. The first scenario is PHAs already in shortfall. This means at the time of the set-aside application, the PHA is working with the shortfall prevention team, and the shortfall prevention team has confirmed that a shortfall exists. Your PHA had to have stopped issuing vouchers as of 3/31/2014. In addition, your PHA had to have rescinded vouchers on the street as of 3/31/2014. And there are a few exceptions to this listed below, such as participants issued vouchers to move, tenant protection vouchers for targeted families, residing in covered property on the day of the eligibility event, VASH vouchers for homeless veterans up to the VASH baseline. For these PHAs already in shortfall, they may enter into project-based HAP contracts for units already under a HAP and may fill their vacant project-based voucher units. But the PHA has to have ceased absorbing portable vouchers as of 3/31/2014. The other scenario for the shortfall funding applications are PHAs who manage their program responsibly but are later determined by the shortfall prevention team to have a shortfall. In either case, scenario 1 or 2, the PHA must submit the calendar year 2014 set-aside attachment A. We will be accepting applications for this category throughout the year. As to how this will actually be calculated, the shortfalls will be determined by HUD using our 2-year projection tool. Compares all resources available to PHA compared to the projected HAP expenses for the year. Resources such as NRA, program reserves, Renewal Budget Authority, 2014 incremental budget authority, and set-aside funds. Expenses include current leasing and expense data projected through the year, suspension of vouchers, projection of attrition based on prior actual attrition. As mentioned before, the application period is open throughout calendar year 2014, and PHAs may apply numerous times if their circumstances change. If your PHA is experiencing a shortfall, they should immediately contact the field office and inform them of this so that we can get them working with the shortfall prevention team. Shortfall funds will be awarded in the amount needed for the PHA to end the year with 0 NRA and reserves. The next category for funding is the unforeseen circumstances category. This category is for PHAs that have encountered circumstances during or after the re-benchmarking period that couldn't have been foreseen and have significantly increased renewal costs. To apply for this category, we need assigned attachment B and a written narrative describing the unforeseen circumstances. Now, the requirements for this category, you must provide evidence to support your narrative, and this narrative must support an unforeseen circumstance, and you must include some sort of calculation that shows the increased cost for calendar year 2014. Examples of unforeseen circumstance categories are unforeseeable rise in rental costs due to inflation beyond the inflation factors, increase in PUC due to economic conditions that reduced average total tenant payments, and these would be economic conditions specific to the area that you work in, not general conditions of the national economy. PHA actions such as raising standards or utility allowance, payment standards or utility allowances, or leasing beyond means. These do not constitute unforeseen circumstances as they result from actions on the part of the PHA. The next category is portability. The eligibility for this category, the PHA must have experienced a significant increase in renewal costs due to portability. This category will be calculated by HUD, so it's not necessary for you to provide a calculation. The portability average HAP for re-benchmarking period must exceed program-wide PUC by 10%, and the eligibility determination will be the HAP difference multiplied by the unit months leased for the port vouchers paid. The submission requirements for this category is you must return a signed set-aside attachment B. The next category is project-based vouchers. For this category, this is for vouchers that were not in use during the re-benchmarking period, so that they could be available for a commitment to project-based vouchers. The adjustment made for this will not exceed the number of unleased unit months, and the only project-based vouchers eligible are new construction and rehabilitated housing. If you send in a HAP contract or HAP for existing housing, that application will be rejected. The specific sections of the submission requirements for this category, you have to include the specific sections of the executed HAP agreement. If executed, the specific sections of the HAP agreement, assigned attachment B, and assigned attachment C and D for each project requested. Another category is HUD VASH, and this is for per unit cost increases. Program-wide funded calendar year 2014 HAP PUC is less than the current VASH HAP PUC. You need to submit VASH leasing and costs that are not yet reflected in VMS, and submit calculation of funds requested. For the leasing increase, total VASH leasing for calendar year 2014 will exceed the level included in renewal funding, plus leasing that will be supported by NRA and reserves retained for that purpose. For that, you need to submit total VASH leasing not yet in VMS, and VASH leasing schedule for the balance of calendar year 2014. And for this, you also need to submit a signed calendar year 2014 set-aside attachment B. The submission deadline for all requests other than shortfalls is April 15th, 2014. Those shortfall requests can come in throughout the year, but these other categories need to be received by HUD by April 15th, 2014. You can submit these to the HUD headquarters address or the electronic mailbox that's listed in the notice. Hard copy submissions that are sent in the mail should always be sent via an expedited delivery service. We base our deadline on when we receive them. So if it's not sent guaranteed delivery, there's no guarantee that it's going to be here in time for us to review it, in which case your request will be considered late. We will also not accept requests that go to other HUD email addresses other than the one provided in the notice. Requests that arrive after April 15th, 2014, and applications that arrive by fax. So that covers the $75 million set-aside application process. And now I'm going to go back to my colleague Bernice to discuss new increments for tenant protection vouchers.
Thank you, Nick. All right.
Thank you, Nick. Appreciate that. I know that's information everyone's always very interested in for the set-aside. I wanted to mention one thing that occurred to me while Nick was speaking. If you receive an offset action because you have money on the table, you are still eligible to apply for the set-aside. The fact of an offset does not take away your eligibility. So you'll specifically want to be careful if it looks like a shortfall is developing, despite your prudent management. Be assured that you are still eligible to make that application throughout the year and for the other categories by the April 15th deadline. I want to talk just for a moment about tenant protection funding. We have an appropriation of $130 million this year, which is a good increase over last year. And the categories that this serves, first of all, multifamily housing eligible actions. Vouchers are available to assist participants who are affected by activities like mod rehab and single room occupancy replacements and multifamily property conversions, such as terminations, opt-outs, prepayments, property disposition, relocations, and some RAD conversions. The initial term is typically 12 months. If the funded term is less than 12 months, which does happen, the increment will be renewed at expiration in the manner that we described for our first-time renewals. So that's for the multifamily side. On the public housing side, vouchers may be available to your PHA based upon certain actions that remove units from your public housing inventory, including demolitions and dispositions. Separate guidelines are going to be issued by Public Housing Office concerning your eligibility and priority criteria for these voucher awards. And as part of approving whatever the eligibility action is, demolition, disposition, HUD will determine if you are eligible for these tenant protection vouchers. And once you receive that approval, you can then submit your application for the vouchers. The term information is the same as multifamily, generally 12 months. If it must be funded for less due to funding constraints, then it will be fully made up at the time of renewal. Finally, there are the TP vouchers for the Choice Neighborhood Initiative that some agencies are involved in. Vouchers may be available to your PHA or to the Multifamily Choice Neighborhood Initiative grantee based on units that are temporarily or permanently removed under the Choice Neighborhood Transformation Plan. And in this instance also, separate guidance will be issued as to the eligibility and the priority criteria. And HUD will determine the eligibility, and then once you receive that approval of the transformation plan, you can submit your application for the vouchers. And the funding terms are also the same as the other two. In terms of the vouchers that are being provided for vacant units, the 2004 Appropriation Act does provide that HUD may only grant replacement vouchers for units that were occupied within the previous 24 months prior to the eligibility event, which is the approval of the disposition, etc., and that ceased to be available as assisted housing because of the event, and may do it only to the extent that funding is available. So we can only touch units that were occupied within the last 24 months. Due to the anticipated demand for the tenant protection funds, vouchers are initially only being provided for occupied units as of the date of the eligibility event to serve, obviously, the participants who are affected. The vacant unit is not really affected. But then if funding is available, we at a later time may be able to provide vouchers for those vacant units that are eligible in the impacted property so as to maintain the supply of affordable units or vouchers. So that's the short and the long of the tenant protection. Now let's talk about administrative fees, always a topic of great interest. Last year, as mentioned, we had sequestration on our admin fees as well, so we only had a little over $1.3 billion available to spend. In fiscal 14, the funding is $1.5 billion. So that's a piece of good news. HUD will use up to $10 million of that amount for funding through our set-aside categories that we will mention, and the rest of it will be dispersed as ongoing administrative fees. There's no change to the way we're handling the fees this year. They continue to be advanced monthly based upon your latest reconciled eligibility, and they continue to be reconciled quarterly. For calendar year 2014, we anticipate that earnings will equal approximately 75% of eligibility each quarter across the year. So remember, the amount that we advance does not equal the amount you have earned. You will receive your reconciliation that will show what you have earned, and we will provide any additional or take back any excess in that manner. And of course, if your fees and your unrestricted net assets that you're holding are not sufficient, then you need to take actions to reduce your costs. And we would refer you back to Notice PIH 2012-15 that discusses various streamlining of administrative practices that you could undertake to reduce your costs. And as a reminder, you still may not use HAP funds to cover admin costs. HAP funds may only be used for eligible HAP costs. And during the course of the year, admin fees may only be used for administrative purposes. They do not become available to support HAP costs until the year has ended and they have accrued to the UNA, the Unrestricted Net Assets account. The calendar year 2014 admin fee schedules have been posted to the Housing Choice Voucher website, and you will see that address there. I'm not going to attempt to read it to you, but that is where they are, along with a narrative description about the fees and their applicability. I would note that if the fees calculated for the area in which your housing authority operates have decreased from 2013, as many did, HUD has held your housing authority to the 2013 rates. So we did not reduce anyone's admin fee rates as a result of the rate going down in your area. And these admin fee rates are effective January 1st, 2014. We received a question about that. They are effective for the entire year. PHAs may again this year, if they are eligible, request higher admin fees or blended fee rates. These requests are due to be received by HUD by April 15th. April 15th is a popular date today. So you will want to make sure if you are eligible and need this accommodation that you submit that request. Higher fee requests are submitted to the Financial Management Center and must be supported by the data that is stipulated in the notice. There's 5 or 6 items you must be sure to submit. There's no required form for this, but we do need the data because that is how you prove that you need the higher fees. And those are available to agencies that are operating in multiple counties, large geographic areas defined as multiple counties. Blended fee requests are submitted to the Financial Management Division here at headquarters. No supporting data is needed and none will be reviewed. We will simply blend your fee based upon the location of your program operations. And if you are approved for either a higher fee or a blended fee rate, that approval is for calendar year 2014 only. So if you had an approval last year, you must reapply for an approval this year. Portability admin fees, and we had a question about this, so we want to make sure we talk about it. They are based on 80% of the column B rate of the initial PHA prorated, okay? And due to the various prorations that do occur across the calendar year, PHAs may use 75% to prorate portability fees for all year. So that portability fee would be the column B rate times 80%, which is the limitation, times 75% proration. And that would equal the fee that would be paid to the administering PHA. And we had a question, what if my agency is so small that I never get to column B? You get to column B to pay your boards, okay? So even if you're not earning column B, you pay at column B. Okay, we mentioned that we would be holding $10 million as an admin fee set aside, and I want to tell you what we will be using it for in the event you are eligible. First of all, homeownership activities. For every homeownership closing that you report in PIC, for families in the voucher homeownership program, Section 8 family self-sufficiency, or the Section 8 moving to work homeownership programs, for each one that you report, you will get a $200 special fee. HUD will calculate and disperse these funds based upon your reporting in PIC. You do not need to apply for it or provide any additional documentation other than reporting them in PIC. The second use of this set-aside is for multifamily housing conversion actions. We will pay $200 in fees for your startup expenses for each unit that is occupied on the date of the eligibility event. Okay, this is just occupied units. Again, HUD will calculate this and disperse it. No separate PHA application is required for the fees. And finally, we have the special portability fees, which we initiated in calendar year 2013, and we're continuing and expanding. This is in recognition that the administration of port-in vouchers is, as we just mentioned, paid at a lesser rate than normal. And if a PHA has a large percentage of port-in vouchers, that can be burdensome. So special portability fees will be provided for PHAs that are administering port-in vouchers which equal 20% or more of the PHA's total leased vouchers as of December of 2013. So if your ports are more than 20% of your leasing. We will fund them based upon 5% of your column A fee rate for each eligible port-in voucher for 12 months. So we'll use December, we'll use your column A rate for this year, and you'll get 5% per month for 12 months. That's an increase over the 3% that we were able to pay last year. HUD will calculate and disperse these funds based upon the portability data in PIC and the leased data from VMS. No housing authority request is needed. We will take care of this as a course of business. Now, all of these special fees are subject, of course, to the availability of funds. We do anticipate at this time that we can meet these needs based upon prior levels of activities in these special categories. VASH funding. We've talked about VASH a couple of times already. We have $75 million. You recall VASH was not sequestered last year, so it just had a small across-the-board cut. But this year it's fully funded, and it will again be allocated based upon the needs of the homeless veterans population adjusted by performance data from the PHAs and the VA medical centers in those areas of need. And once the allocations have been determined, HUD will then reach out to PHAs and invite them to apply for the vouchers based on their service location and their prior administrative performance. So nothing really changes in terms of new VASH awards for 2014. Now, the 5-year Mainstream program, we need to talk about this a little bit because there are some changes for calendar year 2014. The program has traditionally been separately funded and managed in a separate manner from all other vouchers, but the funding has now been incorporated into the tenant-based rental assistance account where our voucher funding is. So we are transitioning the management of this program and the funding of it to the voucher model, so to speak. So for calendar year 2014, 5-year Mainstream voucher renewals will be based on actual expenses as reported in VMS for calendar year 2013 in the same manner as all other vouchers. Administrative fees will be based on leasing as of the first of each month and will be prorated at the same level as the fees for all other vouchers, since they are now a part of the same appropriations account. Now, specific additional information about this transition process concerning things like the funding, your budgets, your current year settlements, that information will be provided directly to the agencies that are administering the 5-year Mainstream vouchers. So you will be hearing from us about that. Turning to just the general area of financial management, we want to remind PHAs of your responsibility to manage your programs responsibly to enable you to serve the families as best you can within your 2014 allocations, your NRA and reserves, and of course within your voucher baseline numbers. We'd refer you back to Notice 2011-28, which has guidance on cost-saving measures that you may take to reduce the potential for financial shortfalls in your program. And I also want to remind you of a newer notice, 2013-28, that talks about outside funding sources. Specifically, it stipulates that PHAs may not use outside funding sources to maintain or increase leasing, but only to prevent terminations and only with prior HUD approval to use these outside sources. To do otherwise would put us in a position of increasing the program size, which we are not authorized to do. So the only expenses that are supported by the funding sources stipulated in the notice may be reported as voucher HAP expenses in VMS. And those funding sources are your budget authority, your reserves, your NRA, any set-aside funds you receive, and your UNA after the end of each year. Any expenses that you're supporting outside of that may not be reported in VMS unless you have eligible outside funding to prevent terminations, in which case you report that separately in VMS. Okay. Otherwise, using uneligible funds or using funds to increase leasing, those are not voucher participants. Okay, In compliance with Treasury requirements, most of you will recall that effective January of 2012, we implemented cash management procedures for the disbursement of HAP funds under the Housing Choice Voucher program. We disperse only the funds required for the current HAP costs, and this results in the reestablishment of the HUD-held program reserves, whereas the excess HAP funds, they're obligated but not dispersed, and they're kept at the HUD level rather than at the PHA level. The only difference between reserves and NRA is where they are held. This moves new budget authority into the program reserves if it is not needed for current costs. And in response to a question, I want to remind you that when we put funds in the program reserve, that does not mean we have taken the funds from your program. Those funds have not been recaptured. They're simply being held by the government for your PHA in your program reserve account and are fully available to you for your eligible program costs. NRA funds that are held by the PHAs will be transitioned to HUD-held program reserves, and they will also be available for use in the same manner that they currently are and in the same manner that HUD-held reserves are and will continue to be. We are going to be transitioning your remaining NRA to the program reserves this year, and this is required of us to ensure that we are not advancing funds in excess of the PHA's immediate needs, and you are not holding excess funds, because to over-advance is one thing, but to have you sitting there with prior year funds that were over-advanced is the other side, and those must be transitioned in. This will occur in 2014, and the general outline of this process as follows. We did advise you to ensure the accuracy of your reported NRA balance in VMS as of December. We will reduce that number by any needed use for those funds prior to the point when we start transitioning them back to the program reserves. And of course, we will reduce the available amount by any portion that we offset for the reallocations that we discussed as part of the 2014 renewal allocation process. We will then review those reported balances as adjusted, and we will determine cases where further review is needed. HUD maintains calculations of the NRA as well as the PHA, and if we find significant differences in our results, we will contact you to work that out and come to an agreement as to, yes, this is the amount that's actually in the account as of this point in time. The transition of the NRA into the program reserves is anticipated to begin with your May 1st renewal disbursement, and it will be done via a reduction of the monthly disbursements that you would otherwise receive. If your NRA balance does differ materially from the balance that we are maintaining, we may delay the transition briefly if needed so that we can resolve that discrepancy. Or if the PHA reports that it cannot meet its HAP expenses if the transition begins May 1st, we may delay as necessary and briefly to resolve that cash issue, because the cash does need to be available, but we do not want to displace any residents if you cannot pay the HAP because you do not have the cash readily available. Those instances will be dealt with on a case-by-case basis. And if you have the situation of a significantly different balance or a cash problem, you will be directed to contact your financial analyst at the Financial Management Center, and you will need to submit documentation to support the balance you're reporting. And HUD will conduct reviews as necessary to verify balances and the cash that is available. And if we have started transitioning, of course, and we make a change in the amount that needs to be transitioned as a result of our reviews, that will be reflected in a later disbursement to bring that back to the level it needs to be. As I mentioned, more detailed guidance will be provided as we move ahead with this process, but we wanted you to be aware that we are going to do it at this year. You need to ensure that your balances are readily available in cash, because obviously if we are transitioning funds to the reserve, that means we're not dispersing them to you, expecting you to use the NRA funds on hand to meet the HAP payments in the amount that we are transitioning that month in time. And I want to make one very important point. This transition of your remaining NRA into your HUD-held program reserves is a separate activity from the offset and reallocation process that we described in some detail earlier in this broadcast. The offset for reallocation will be made prior to the transition of the NRA, with only the remaining balance after offset then subject to transition to the reserves. Transitioning the NRA to the reserves does not constitute recapture, just moves the funds to the reserves. They are still available to use for your eligible HAP expenses. We are trying to keep the two activities separate so as not to create confusion. That is, we're trying to do the offsets for reallocation immediately on April 1st, but for those PHAs where it's going to take several months to collect the offset for reallocation, then we will be in a situation of doing transition in the same months going through the year. But we will keep everyone advised as to what is happening with both the offset and the transition to the program reserves. And that is the material that I wanted to share with you today on the implementation. As mentioned, you will see the implementation notice posted very soon now. It should be up within a day or two. We will also post these slides onto the HUD website. And as we receive questions, if they are questions and answers of common interest, we will post those as well to keep everyone fully informed. And so please do continue to contact us if you have issues that we need to talk about or need to assist you with. Miguel?
Thank you, Bernice. Apparently, we have not received yet any questions in our mailbox. We're going to give at least 1 or 2 more minutes to see if we can get questions from the field so we can respond to you. All right, we're receiving a couple questions now. Let me go back first before we address any questions that we have. We're running out of time at this point. Be assured that we're going to respond to any questions that you have submitted through our mailbox. We're going to respond to you directly, and like I said at the beginning, we're going to collect all the questions that we get, and we're going to post it in the website as frequently asked questions. I want to go back to the admin fee presentation that Bernice did. Even though when we are in a better position this year, we are anticipating 75% proration. We are going to continue looking for funds that could be reprogrammed to the administrative fee pot, just for lack of a better word, account, because we have the provision in the Appropriations Act. Like last year, we can move carryover and recapture funds that we get in the account and reprogram them to administrative fees. So be assured that the program will continue looking for those funds to increase the proration for administrative fees for housing agencies. Also, be very careful when you send applications related to blended rates and higher fees. The blended rates, like Bernice mentioned, are going to be handled by the Financial Management Division, and we set up a specific address in the notice. And also, the higher fees will be handled by the Financial Management Center. So I want to clarify that. I want you to be very, very careful when you send the applications so we can address those applications easily and faster. I believe we had questions about FSS. We received funding for FSS this year. The only difference is that now we have a specific office within the department that will handle the NOFA for family self-sufficiency. So I believe the amount was $75 million this year. We don't know about when the NOFA will be published, but yes, we receive funding for family self-sufficiency. It's going to be handled by a new office created under the department. Unfortunately, we're running out of time. Like I said, we're going to respond to all your questions. Thank you for participating in today's broadcast, for attending today's broadcast. Thank you, Bernice and Nick, for the presentation. That will be everything for today. We'll see you next time. Thank you.